Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk, NFTs, Crypto, and Web3. I am your host, Asia the Bird. Today, we have a very special guest with us today. She is an NFT artist. Please welcome Abby. Hello, Abby, and welcome.
Hi, Asia. Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely most welcome. So I want to go ahead and really get started by asking where you're originally from and tell us a little about your upbringing.
Well, I'm a Nigerian American, but so I live in the United States. I lived majority of my life in the United States. I live in Texas. Um, I mean, so I guess I grew up like most people in the South, except obviously my parents aren't from here, so it might be a little bit different. But yeah, like I said, majority of my life was spent here.
Mm, yeah, absolutely. Now, tell us about your school experience, like in terms of grade school, college, etc.
Yeah, so I did like elementary, junior high, high school, college, all in Texas. And I was always more of a creative person. When I was a kid, my mom put me in or she wanted me to be in like the honors classes and stuff. And like, I
Right.
did really well with English. But when it came to math, like I wasn't interested in honors math. I would always just draw cartoons on the margins of my homework.
Right.
So then the teacher was like, okay, obviously you're not actually interested in this. So they just put me in regular math. But like, yeah, my interest has been being an artist since I was a kid. I would always just draw comics. I was
Mhm.
inspired by like Sailor Moon, Totally Spies, that kind of thing. Like, I
Yeah.
just really liked girly cartoons, I guess you can call them, and stuff like that. And then when I did art like all through school, but when I got to college, I was like, oh, let me be serious. And I majored in international economics, but
Mhm.
then I didn't really enjoy it. And then when I got to the real world, I was like,
Mhm.
okay, I can't do this. Like, while I'm still young, let me try and
Mhm.
pursue a more creative um, path, I guess. And because I didn't know exactly how or what I wanted to do, I went back to school and then I majored in new media art, which
Mhm.
is like basically creating art with technology, and which is like old and new technology. And so I really liked that major because we literally were able to do whatever we wanted.
Mhm.
And you would just kind of tell the professor, like, oh, this is the kind of thing I want to create. And it was their job to help you make that thing. So
Right.
I did a lot of like AR. I did like a basic creative coding class, 3D modeling, etc. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, it's really, really cool. So what attracted you into, like, being a 3D artist? Like, what attracted you to 3D art?
Yeah, I think it was because of the new media class. I saw
Mhm.
some other classmates that knew how to do 3D modeling. We didn't have a specific class for that. So I didn't learn
Mhm.
it in class. I took the time to learn on YouTube, and I
Mhm.
used Blender, which is free. So it was actually during lockdown. So I had a
Mhm.
lot of free time. So I did that really long donut tutorial that most people start off with. And so that's what kind of kickstarted everything.
Mm. Have you tried, like, any other, like, programs like, I think it's, like, ZBrush and Maya? Have you tried those other programs, or was it just solely Blender?
Um, I mean, I've used what's it called? 3DS Max, but that
Mhm.
was for a class that I had my last semester. But I've only used Blender because it's free.
Mhm.
I focused all my energy on it because it's free.
Mm. Absolutely, totally understandable. So I wanna switch gears and talk about NFTs and Web3. Who or what introduced you to NFTs in the world of Web3?
Yeah, so I got onto Clubhouse. This was still during the pandemic. My sister invited me, and I was thinking I was going to be like a photographer. And so I was going
Mhm.
to all the different Clubhouse rooms about photography and stuff.
Mhm.
But then I started seeing these rooms pop up about crypto art. And so I didn't really know I was like, what is that? Because I've just always been very curious about different kinds of art.
Yeah.
And so I went into a room by this guy, Sursu. He's like really involved in Web3. And so he was talking about crypto art. And I'm like, okay, what is this? I did,
Mhm.
some research, YouTube videos, but I thought it was a specific style of art. So I wasn't really fully understanding what exactly was going on.
Right,
And
yeah.
then Spersu, he made a tutorial on Instagram on like step by step how to mint your first NFT. And I attended like so many of the Clubhouse rooms. And then one night, and I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. Like, let me just do it because I think I've heard enough. Like, let me just see what it's like. And so yeah, I just followed his tutorial on Instagram and I minted my first NFT in February 2021 on Rarible. And then I was like, oh, okay. I kind of get it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. And the thing is, like, I got exposed to learn about NFTs and Web3 like in Clubhouse too.
Mhm.
Because at the time, like during like 2021 or so, or 2022 specifically, I got into this club called NFT Tips. So they talked about a lot of things about Web3, NFTs, types of crypto, quantum computers, and things like that. So that's how I got really familiar with NFTs and the whole thing of utility and with NFT projects. So yeah, it can be confusing, I think, in terms of what an NFT can be. You know what I mean? Because the NFT is more than just like a drawn artwork. It could be music. It could be all these different things.
Yeah, I mean, I went to some of the NFT tips rooms too. But yeah, when I first looked it up, that was a time when there was like a lot of astronaut art. And so I'm
Yeah,
like, okay, is this a specific, like, I thought it was all about astronauts at first. I didn't
yeah,
really
yeah.
understand. And then people kind of like, no, you can literally do anything. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and that's very interesting because at that time, like 2021, 2022, that was really where Bored Apes was like, the popular NFT. I think it was like them and I think it was Crypto Punks or something like that. So yeah, so those are like the popular like NFT projects at the time. The time I started hearing about it and learning about it. So yeah, it's very, very interesting. But I want to
Yeah,
also get into
oh, sorry. The apes, like, I got in before the apes thing started, and
mhm.
I was like, "How did I miss this?" I was always on Clubhouse, and somehow I missed that whole thing because they were all in a room on Clubhouse and,
Yeah.
like, minting it, and then, it just skyrocketed. I was like, "Where was I when this was happening?"
Yeah, right, exactly. So I want to get into as far as your NFT collection. So you have your own collection of NFTs you sell on platforms ranging from Zora, Magic Eden, Foundation, OpenSea, and Known Origin. Tell us about your journey into selling and pricing your NFTs.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really know what to price things at, because I was seeing people pricing things at ridiculous prices, like, not
Hmm.
ridiculous, but like really high prices. And like, this was 2021 where people were literally buying anything. So I was like, okay, like, I think my first one, I priced it at 2 ETH,
Hmm.
but I didn't like promote it. I think it's still sitting there somewhere. But I listed it really high and I was like, okay, like, who's gonna buy this? But it's because I was seeing like people were literally buying nothing, like blank, images or holes in the wall, stuff like that. And I was just like, okay, so this is easy. But it really wasn't. And then I got an invitation to Foundation from, who did I get it from? Oh, from One Off, which was this like black collective on there. And so on Foundation, people were like pricing it kind of at like point 0.5 ETH. So that's what
Hmm.
I minted two works and I listed them both at point 0.5. And
Right.
they sat there for a while, like a really long time, actually, a few months. It wasn't until Diana Sinclair, she made a thread on Twitter, like highlighting black artists that people should know or support and whatever. And
Hmm.
so then all of a sudden I got, I started getting bids and I was like, oh wow, like, and this was when ETH was like 4K. So I was very excited,
Yeah.
very excited. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, pricing, I don't know. I feel like you have to be kind of willing to wait if
Yeah.
you're not already a super well-known famous person, or if you don't already have collectors waiting on you or something.
Right.
So it's like, if you want to price it like lower, it might get collected faster, but if you want to do it higher, like, you might have to end up waiting. But yeah, my
Yeah.
first one sold for 0.55, I believe. And then another one like point 0.5 shortly after that. So that was kind of the range I was starting at back
Hmm.
then. So yeah.
Yeah. I think that with pricing like artwork in general, it can be kind of like difficult because you're trying to find that medium or that balance some sort of way. But also too, like I think people have to consider the time it takes to build a work of art and things of that nature. So I think also too, I want to give a shout out to NFT Now, because NFT Now, I think shout out Abieyuwa and other black
Okay.
NFT artists and things like that. So I like how they're, trying to shout out other, black NFT artists and things of that nature, people that are making waves in the Web3 industry.
Yeah, definitely. NFT Now has featured me a few times, like me or some of the curations I've done. They've been very helpful with it, so I really appreciate NFT Now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to go ahead and really get into this next question. So for someone who wants to sell their own line of NFTs, what would you say are the critical things one should know before selling?
Um, hmm. Well, you just have to know that the space moves really fast. Like things change all the time. And like I said before, you do have to have patience. Like sometimes you'll see someone drop a whole collection and sell out, and then yours is still waiting there. Like you just have to be patient, but you do have to
Right.
do some of the work, like
Yeah.
promoting. You have to market, but you can't be like spamming people's DMs, that kind of thing. It's really hard to figure out the marketing aspect, but you do have to market it and get to know people and networking. Also, I feel like that's what really helped me is like I got to meet people, whether it was like Clubhouse, Twitter Space, or like some of the events in person. I got
Yeah.
to meet people, and then that led to other things. So definitely like try and network and
Yeah.
I don't know, just be confident in your art. Because I know I've noticed some people, if it doesn't sell, they'll kind of like beat themselves up or start to doubt their abilities. And I'm like,
Yeah.
art is subjective, so like not everyone's gonna get it, but eventually someone will get it. Get what you're trying to do.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I could totally agree with that. So one of your NFT collections I really liked from you was the 3D work you did on Foundation, or for Foundation, so showcasing nail art. So in your collection, you talked about the tradition of Nigerian Igbo women drawing their body with indigo and Black Americans expressing creativity through extravagant designs that were deemed unprofessional. So, in your perspective, how big of an impact do you think that Black women in America and in the Black diaspora have as far as beauty and creativity?
I mean, yeah, black women definitely have like the biggest impact. And it's kind of insane because it's either ignored or like someone else is given the credit, like
Yeah,
cornrows or boxer braids now, or, like they'll change
yeah,
the name and give someone else credit, but it's like, where they got it from. And like, yeah,
mhm,
with that collection, I was doing this is again during lockdown. I was doing research on like pre colonial Nigeria, specifically my parents' tribes. And then when I learned about Uli, and it's like they would draw on their bodies and also on the walls and stuff, and it was like a form of beautification. But
right,
then the English missionaries came and they reacted negatively to it and was like,
yeah,
don't draw on your bodies, instead do embroidery, that kind of thing. It's like, it just, I drew the comparison to how nowadays it's like you can't dress a certain way if you're a black woman, or you can't do certain things, or people will see you in a negative light or
yeah,
associate negative stereotypes to you. And it's just like, can we catch a break? Like,
right,
at one
exactly,
point in history, can y'all just leave us alone? Because
yeah,
just growing up, in the US, sometimes I would get associated with these stereotypes, and it would be kind of confusing, especially as a kid, because I'm just kind of like, I don't
yeah,
even know what this means. But like as
mhm,
you grow older, you understand like, oh, okay, they're being like prejudiced, or discriminating against me because of how I look, that kind of thing. And it's like it's not right at all, and like we're
yeah,
just trying to express ourselves, through
exactly,
fashion or whatever. But everyone seems to have a problem with it until someone of a different race does it. Then all of a sudden it's avant-garde, or
yeah,
all
yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the entire thing. Like, that's what I've been like speaking about to that effect in terms of like in the beauty and nail industry, because I think black women don't get enough credit as far as the contributions like to the nail industry in the beauty industry as a whole, especially black American women. And
Mhm.
the thing is that, what I like about what the African diaspora is like in terms of the fashion, like I love the patterns and I love like, especially in Nigeria with the head wraps and just being so like it's like this royal type of vibe type of thing, very haute couture with you guys' fashion. And the thing is that people know without black culture, not only here in America but in a global scale, the world wouldn't be where it is today. And the thing is that I do really, really wish that we had more credit in terms of our contributions to beauty, fashion, art. And I think also too, it's up to us to build those spaces where we can feel included as well.
Yeah, I mean, and I like how every part of the diaspora kind of like we have similar things, but then we all add our own unique twist to it, like
Yeah.
braid styles or makeup styles, nails, that kind of thing. Like, I really appreciate it. And then, like, personally, I have a lot of respect for Black American women because, again, I grew up here, and so I went to school with a lot of Black American girls, all that kind of thing, and so would
Mhm.
spend time with their families and their moms, that kind of thing. So I really love the whole diaspora and everything that we do in
Yeah.
order to express ourselves, and how we can look the same but also different. Like, you can tell if someone's from here or there,
Yeah. Right.
that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. So when coming up with an NFT collection, where's your process behind like building a collection?
Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just somebody, like, ideas just sometimes pop into my head
Mhm.
randomly. But yeah, I think I had the idea after I had done the research because I had made the, like, comparison, and I was like, oh, wouldn't it be interesting if I combine these two?
Mhm.
And so I wasn't like, my 3D skills have gotten a lot better, but like back then I wasn't the best. But I was like, let me
Mhm.
just try and see. And so yeah, it was just me challenging myself because I did like animated works for my first
Mhm.
ones, and so it was like me learning how to do the sculpting of the hand and the rigging
Right.
and like the different colors of the nails, all that kind of thing. So
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know, with each thing that I drop or each collection I drop, I just always have to challenge myself in some way. That's just how I am. So it's like, first I have the idea, then I'm like, okay, what can I learn this time? And, what's going to be difficult, and trying to figure out how much time it would take, all that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I remember like having to like practice with Maya during my time in art school. Like, I remember I did this class. It's like pretty much, getting you exposed to different programs and, Adobe,
Mhm.
Creative Cloud and all these other things. But specifically we was working with Maya and we had to build like these barrels and stuff like that. And so Maya, it's hard to work with. I had this other program called Sculptress. That's another 3D program,
Mm.
and it's simpler, but it's hard. So it's like with any program that you do, whether it's like 2D or 3D, it's something you have to get acclimated to.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Maya, I know that's like the industry standard. I think
Yeah.
I've used Maya one time. Yeah, I think one time. It was in the same class where we used 3ds Max, and I was like, okay, this is not, this is just not for me. And then we used Unity, and it was too
Mhm.
much. I was just like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I feel like Blender is really user friendly. And of course, there are a lot of tutorials, and since it's free, it's more accessible to everybody, and like everyone in the community tries to help each other out. So I really like Blender. I always recommend it to people.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if you had a top four list of your favorite artists in Web3, who would they be and why?
Oh wow. Okay, in no particular order.
No, no particular order.
Lana Danina. She's a friend of mine, but I really love her art. She does like self portraits. So
Mhm.
all her art looks like her, and it's like very feminine. But also lately, she's been doing very emotional works. And I
Mhm.
like how she's essentially healing herself through the artwork that she's putting out. And then this, what's her name? Her Twitter name is Brown Skin Janice, I believe. She's Brazilian, and she does art with hair. She's
Mhm.
Afro Brazilian, and so sometimes she uses AI, but sometimes she does like wigs or like sculptures,
Mhm.
that kind of thing. She's like a multidisciplinary artist. Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Oh, King Oranta,
Mhm.
aka Jesse. He does 3D art. He's Nigerian. He does really amazing work, very emotional too. but he also does cover art. He's done cover art for like some like Afro beats artists. So that's
Wow,
really cool. Yeah, he's really dope. And
really
then
cool.
Zoe, that the Zoe kid or that Zoe kid, I don't remember her at name, but she does like architecture, and she's from Barbados, and so she does a
Hmm.
lot of 3D art that's
Hmm.
inspired by her homes in Barbados, or like buildings that she's passed in Barbados. So yeah, those are the four that I can list right now. But I like a lot of artists, but yeah.
Yeah, that's really really cool. So, what do you think about like the state as far as like the state of NFTs? Like, do you think NFTs are here to stay, or do you think that NFTs won't have as much value as they did back in 2021 and 2022?
Mm, I mean, things have definitely slowed down in
Hmm.
terms of people collecting. So I don't know. I feel like it's kind of unpredictable, but
Hmm.
a lot of artists are working hard to create value for the people who are collecting their work.
Yeah,
So I guess as long as people are interested in supporting artists, then I think things will be okay. It's just it won't be like 2021 where, like I said, they were just collecting everything, and I was like,
yeah.
what is going on here? Because now I think people are more into like trading and stuff now. So I don't know,
Yeah.
it's a little bit different, but I do see some people get their art collected, just not at the same rate as before.
Hmm. Yeah, I could see what people are getting into like trading NFTs. I've noticed that a little bit. Also, too, what I've noticed is there are some NFT collections that's really slowed down, so they're not selling as much, or
Mm.
they might have took a break from the space. So yeah, so it wasn't like how it was like 2022, or especially the first half of 2023, where stuff was booming and everybody was like how you say collecting and things like that. So yeah, stuff has really slowed down. It seemed like.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the meme coins kind of were going crazy a
Hmm.
few months ago, or like 2 months ago or something. So I think most people were focused on that. I'm not sure about now. I don't think they're doing as well, but I mean, we'll see. If things
Yeah.
change all the time. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll see. I want to go ahead and talk about AI. So, what do you think about AI and where it's headed? Do you think it has affected the state of NFTs?
Um, what do I think? Honestly, I don't know what I think of AI, because I when OpenAI started Dolly 2, I was one of the first people to use it, just because I was like, "Oh, let me see what this is about." And
Hmm.
I thought it was really cool that you can just type in things and create art.
Hmm.
Um, but then I'm like, I don't know, because I like creating my own art. So I was like, maybe I can figure out a way to combine my art
Yeah.
with the AI. But yeah, I don't have like a strong opinion.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
because like I use Chat GPT sometimes to
Yeah.
help
Me
me.
too.
Like I don't have it straight up write things for me, but I'll have it
Hmm.
proofread stuff,
Yeah.
so I can't be like, oh, I hate AI, but it's like, oh, but you use AI to proofread your stuff, so that wouldn't, make sense. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really. I have no idea. I've been asked this before. I'm like, I don't know, because that I feel like that would make me a hypocrite if I'm like, I hate AI, but I just feel like I haven't figured out how to use it in a way that I don't know, in a way that I like. So
Yeah. I think with AI, there's like some ways to like to use it.
mm,
I know it's like AI has grown to the point where you got like how you said Chat GPT. You can make your own like images and type stuff and to look, to help you explain things or something like that. Or I know like people are getting more into like these self-driving cars, and so
mm,
yeah, so AI I think is really inevitable, definitely because it's going to get bigger and bigger, 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 bigger.
mm.
And I think that it's just there again, it's just knowing how to really use it in a way where it helps you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've seen some really great AI art. Um,
Yeah,
I just haven't figured out like how I would use it. I mean, I've used
right,
it before to like if I wanted to create a reference for something I was going to model myself.
right.
So yeah, I feel like maybe I could use it that way. But as far as like just I don't know, making something with AI, I've done it in the past, but I don't know if I want to do that again. So like I said, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, totally understandable. So where do you see yourself in your career 5 years from now?
Ugh, 5 years. um know. I mean, I have a lot of goals that I'm trying to reach, that I've been working really hard on this year. But in 5 years, I don't know. I'd like to completely, fully, like, be a full time artist.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like working my way towards that. Um, but like in terms of like specifics, I don't know. Okay, some of my short term goals. I really want to do an art residency. I went to NFT NYC in April, and like I've been to New
Mm-hmm.
York before, but it's like this last time I just like, I should come out here for a little bit and like do some art or something. But obviously, New York is expensive, so I would have to find
Yeah,
one with
yeah.
like all the different benefits and
Mm-hmm.
all that kind of thing. But I
Right.
don't know. I feel like I need a residency so I can just sit down and focus and be like, okay, here's a whole collection. Because I would like to do a solo exhibition at some point. I feel like right now I don't have anything that I would want to put in a solo exhibition. I would like to have a whole series of art that could be in one solo exhibition. Um, so yeah, that's kind of, I guess that would be my long term goal, is to have a solo exhibition.
Mm-hmm. How was NFT NYC back in April?
It was cool. It less people than before.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember I was a speaker in 2021 and 2022, and there were a lot of more people. I feel like this time there were less people, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was still cool. I saw some of my collectors and some of the people I knew from social media, but not
Mm-hmm.
like the people I saw those 2 years I talked about. Like a lot of them didn't come this year, but it was
Mm-hmm.
still
That's cool. That's really, really cool. Now, last but not least, where can people find you on social media and how can people support you and your NFTs?
Yeah, so my social media, it's like my full name dot art is my Instagram, and then Twitter, Abieyuwa art, like all as one word.
Mm-hmm.
And then my NFTs, I have them linked in both my social media, like in the bio. I
Mm-hmm.
have art on Foundation, Manifold.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think where else. Oh, Tezos. I haven't
Yeah.
done anything on base. I know a lot of people are minting on base right now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I've minted one thing on Optimism. So yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
if you just go to the link in my bio, then you'll be able to find some of my art.
All right, that's really, really cool. Well, thank you so much, Abby, for jumping on. I first discovered your work on social media. I love the nail art, the nail collection that you did, the NFTs that you did. Really paying homage to Black culture and especially with your heritage and things like that. With some of your NFTs. So I really had a very good conversation, really cool conversation. Get to know you and your story in the NFT Web3 space. So thank you so much again.
Yeah, thank you so much for requesting this. I really appreciate it. I really had a good time in this interview.
Yes, thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye. Hello, everybody, and thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms, and be on the lookout for more interviews involving NFTs, crypto, Web3, and the metaverse. Take care. Bye bye.